All right, so I'm back, and I'm wondering if it's working or not. This is very interesting. And if it's not, that makes me very curious of what's actually going on. Let's see. Instagram is a dead stick. So let's try and go live on TikTok. All right. Oh, looks like I am still live on TikTok. But we'll see if I have any sound or anything like that. That's so weird. Okay, hang on. Hold on. What? Let's see. This. Oh, I don't even know what that is. All right, TikTok, will you work with me this time? All right, so can you hear me, yes or no? Because I don't have any of my regular subscribers on right now that would normally tell me what's up and what's down. Oh, man. I'm so gullible that I fall for just about anything anyway, so joke's on me. But no, I actually have been having sound problems lately. So when you said that, I was like, oh my God, it's happening again. Was it actually happening the first time, though? Like, yes or no? Or were you just having some fun on a Thursday afternoon? I think it's Thursday. I keep getting the day wrong. I keep wanting to say it's Friday. And then, like, this morning when I was driving through Detroit running errands, I'm like, hey, it's nice Saturday. And I'm like, oh my God, it's actually Thursday. So, huh. But anyway, oh, everybody, if you can hear me, this is Rachel from Detroit, out of Detroit from Forge Le Femme, and I'm talking knife stuff. And the first live was without any sound. Okay. Yeah, I've been having that issue. Someone told me they've been experiencing it with other lives, so I don't know. But this is the knife I recently forged, and this is forged from a Nicholson file. And you can see this thing is pretty beastly as it stands right now. I think it's like a 5/16 spine right now, but I'm gonna thin it out. No, get the cigar out of the way for TikTok, or they're gonna punish me. But I'm gonna make this probably more like a 3/16 spine. I'm gonna pull the tang out a little further and then stretch the body of the blade all the way out of the profile of the blade, pull that out, and do some, twisting and winding, and we'll see where we come out at. So, you guys, where are you guys out of today? As I said, I'm Rachel. I'm out of Detroit. It is a very nice sunny day today. I am so ready for spring to get here. Let me tell you, I got a chance to forge this yesterday, and it was actually pretty freaking cold, and most part of the day was kind of dreary, which I don't mind a dreary day because it means there's not always sun. My sister lives in LA, and she said it's always sunny. And anyway, so it was really cool to get out there and forge and whatnot. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where this thing goes. And it's going to be like what I call it, like a gentleman's bowie or a vest bowie that's going to go in right here. They can carry that on their side, and it's going to have a what do you call it, like a coffin handle shape, which was what I've seen more commonly, like the Old West style. If you ever want to challenge yourself, I mean really challenge yourself, make a straight razor. Yes, that is definitely a challenge I have never put myself to task on yet. I have definitely thought about it. That's a lot of technical work in that. And I have not worked myself up to that yet, but that is definitely something I do wish to make someday. Man, those are really cool. There's a guy out of Northwest Michigan named Tim Zawada. He makes them, and his are pretty dang cool. He's pretty dang cool. He's super, and he's a very good smith. You got to be good to make those. And yeah, that is definitely up there with like Grail level builds for me. Like, I'm not really into sword building. Big knives, yes, but not swords. Like, this is one of the bigger knives I've made. And yes, it is rusty, I know. I left it out in the rain, but this is like my yard swinger arounder and breaking up kindling and stuff for fires with. I made this from a file. I don't remember what kind. I think this is actually a Hayes file, which were made in Detroit. But the thickness on the spine on this is actually what I'm after for this critter right here. So oh yeah, I get that, and that's part of the technical side of it for sure. I do like to play around with hollow grinds. They're fun. They're definitely their own challenge, to say the least. I never got into compound grinds, though. I mean, this does have a ground-in fuller on it. Partially ground-in. I did forge in a good part of it. But it was a lot of fun working on it. You can feel it like start locking in when you get that convex going really good. And it just, I don't know, to me, it's a nice feeling to lock into a convex, and then how it has the taper on it. You know, it's like just cool. Like when you start working it down, you just start pulling it away and getting that taper. It's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing that. So are you a knife maker yourself by chance? I've met some non-knife makers that are pretty aware of what's going on in the knife world. Most knife makers that try a straight razor get them sharp enough to shave arm hair and call it good. And it might be for a knife. While you can give 100% for a knife edge, you got to give 200% for a razor. Yeah, I actually have a friend who is a knife maker, a very good one. He's a journeyman smith with the American Bladesmith Society even. And he got a straight razor. It was the first one he ever owned. He got it from an antique store. And he's like, I wonder if I could get this to shaving sharp. And that was one of the things he encountered was I can shave my arm hair with it, but I can't give myself a shave with it. And it took him about, I want to say like a week of getting it to that right, I guess, angle, keenness, the whole shebang. And it was, he said it was one of the better learning experiences he has had. And it was, I want to say the stropping part was what kept leading him amiss, if I recall. Or like those barbers just like take it up and down the strap. I don't know how they do it and keep it so sharp, but he did eventually get it, and he was able to give himself a straight razor shave. And that was one of the cooler things I heard one of my friends get to do. So I've tried making a few knives, but I mostly sharpen knives, but I also sharpen razors. Sharpeners, man, you guys, you definitely have your place. And I believe back in the day they called them cutlers, and the cutler made knives, sharpened knives, like they were the whole one-stop shop, if you will. There's been some debate on that, but no, sharpening is definitely its own little niche in the whole grand scheme of knife making, or knives, all things knives, all things cutting, for God's sake. Scissors. I mean, I've never really tried to sharpen a pair of scissors. I have some what I call gingers or gingers. They're still extremely sharp, so I've never had to touch them up or anything like that. But I have never put them to the test, but I am curious to give them a try. Or like hairstylists or barbers. Like my friend, when because he's a hairstylist, and he would take his scissors and he'd show me how sharp they were. Like when I had longer hair, he'd cut it and it just like cut right through it so easily. And then he could actually like, because I used to get my hair cut way shorter on the sides sometimes in the summer, and he could actually like take his scissors and go right across the side of my head and shear off hair. It was truly impressive to see scissors that sharp, and like a chef's knife, you know what I mean? They're just so incredibly sharp. I mean, they got a job to do, and time is money. And actually, because of chef's knives being so sharp, I've worked at a few restaurants that had chefs in them, actual chefs, not like line cooks that called themselves chefs, but like actually trained in Europe type chef. And they didn't always wash their handles. And they didn't do that because they cut themselves pretty bad by holding the blade and trying to wash the handle. So the best that their handles ever got was some kind of sanitizing solution, and then that was it. Oh, there's people over here on TikTok. What's going on, y'all? We're talking knives. We're talking knife stuff. We're talking big knives. Actually, we're not. I just like to have this in my shots because it's fun, and I made it, and I use it to chop up kindling. But no, it was one of the more interesting things I learned from chefs is they don't always wash their handles. And most of the chefs I worked with did not use stainless steel either. They used simple high carbon steels, and at most they would go to is usually like 01 for getting into the more complicated metallurgies, which 01 is still on the simpler side. And one of my friends, he would only have stainless steel for one knife, and I think it was his, I think it was the boning knife that he used, and that was the only thing he would have as stainless. Actually, I made 2 knives for him. Well, I made one knife. I made his paring knife. I actually made it out of an old circular saw blade, and he used that for years in the kitchen. He was a chef in a couple of restaurants in Detroit. This really good one called Gold Cash Gold. If you guys ever get a chance, I think it's still there. And anyway, that was a really fun one to make. I did like this really pretty like cherry burl handles on it, and then a cleaver. I actually refurbished a cleaver for him. It was I think it was Lexington brand. And I did like pearwood handles and stuff. It was really cool. And he put that to work for years. And well, may he rest in peace. It is unfortunately no more. I want to get that cleaver back though from his family if I could. I'd love to put that in my life, but if his family wants to hang on to it, you know how it goes. Respect to the family. So with your sharpening, do you do like farmers markets and stuff? There's a girl, she's not per se local to me, but she does come a little west. She goes to Farmington, I believe, in Michigan, which is just a little west of Detroit, and she does do knife sharpening there, but she's more like up in this area. Which, yes, we do use our hand for our map in Michigan. We do call it the thumb too, if you guys didn't know. That's a real thing in Michigan. This whole wrapper just came off on me. Holy moly. All right, you go. These cigars are actually pretty good, but my goodness, do they fall apart like it is their job. Actually, since you are a sharpener, I have this new sandpaper. I don't know if you've ever got a chance to use it, but I came across it, did some research on it, actually while I was in Menards. And it's called Cubitron, like a Transformers name. And it's made by 3M. And all the ones I saw, they're all some shade of purple, like all purple to some degree. Lavender, whatever you want to call them. But I actually was really impressed. They were not cheap, don't get me wrong. These are actually fairly expensive, but they were far superior to the like general purpose stuff, like this. Come here, you, right here. Like the general purpose stuff. This stuff, it's good for general purpose. But when I was hand filing a knife, the steel, or hand sanding the knife to steel, it just it doesn't respond as well. And the stuff that it's made from, it breaks down pretty easily. It's already broken down material as is, and then it's adhered to the paper with an adhesive, and it gets you by. But it's not. It just doesn't have that like same bravado, I guess you could say. At least it doesn't to me. But when I used the Cubitron, it was like I used half the sandpaper. Like it really felt like half of it. And not only half of the sandpaper, it was getting through it very quickly. And that was super exciting for me to get through something. Let me see if I can show you guys. Is this it right here? Yeah, this is it. This was the knife actually that I was... Oh, I just got myself with the hook. But this is actually the knife that I was sanding right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's got a belt finish that's a little bit uneven here and there. And then this is where I've been working on. I think I stopped at like 120 grit on this right here. Maybe, no, I think 220. But you can see it's very nice. And one of the cooler things about the Cubitron sandpaper is it, because it doesn't break down and crumble as you're sanding, because I only use waterproof if it's not Cubitron now. And even though it's waterproof and I use oil on my steel, it still will like break down in a way that it seems like it puts deeper gouges in the steel, and it can be really hard to work those out, at least in my experiences. And with the Cubitron, and I don't get any money. I'm a nobody in this world, so I don't get any like sponsorships or anything like that. But I am that impressed by it, and it didn't put those gouges in there, or if it did, I was able to work them out much quicker. And I guess the idea behind Cubitron is it goes from like a kind of a pyramid shape, and it doesn't per se break down, but it wears down into like smaller pyramids is what I gathered. Is that true? I don't know, but I can say it's not gimmicky. It's actually pretty dang cool. And to me, it was worth it. Oh, you guys hanging out on TikTok. Where are you guys lurking out of? Like I said, I'm Rachel out of Detroit. This is Forge Le Femme. And I have got so much stuff going on. I might go live again tonight for a shop cleanup. I have got a mess of leather working tools and everything. Actually, I need to make leather sheaths tonight too. I make a bunch of little, well, not right now, but I have made a bunch of little knives like these. I call them end cuts. They're made from little ends of knives that I have made from files. I got a couple more. Where are they? This is one right here. This is actually my personal end cut that I use in my workspace. I put a handle on it just to see what it was like, and it actually made it really awesome, to be completely honest. They're fun little knives, and they're almost more like a scribe, I guess you could say. And it just, yeah, very handy. And the handle, I don't remember what it's made out of. It's got walnut in the front, and the little spacer is actually made out of the blinds in my house. When I had to trim them, I kept the little white tabs, and I decided to put spacers in my handle. Oh my, this whole wrapper just came off, and now it's just the binder. So now we're on to the second layer of this cigar. Get some of my eye. I've never smoked a cigar without a wrapper before. Well, this is where we're at. Actually, I'm going to kick out of this right now. And I'm going to go, let's try Instagram again. All right, so we're done with that. Oh, I almost burned my hat. Let's see, we'll call this Shop Talk. No, not that. Okay, let's go live. All righty. It's asking me to ask a Q&A of pizza, thin or thick crust. I actually prefer thick crust, not thin. But you know what? Let's see if I can ask a question. I'm still learning how to use all this, so you guys are learning right along with me, and that's really what my channel is all about. Is as I learn and people that subscribe continue to grow, we continue to learn more together. And it's like I learned from you today is getting that extra mile on sharpening a straight razor is the 200 percentile, not the 100 percentile like a regular knife would be. There's actually a knife maker named, who was his name? Murray Carter. He's kind of like my knife sharpening hero, to the point that in the American Bladesmith Society, some will even call it Murray Carter Sharp. And he gets knives like dry shave sharp. He's gotten a knife dry shaving sharp on an actual cinder block. And he was just showing how to do it. And his YouTube channel is very cool. Like I said, Murray Carter, he makes amazing knives. He's a very Japanese style enthused. He actually trained in Japan. And I can't remember what Japanese clan he trained with, but he's a very good smith. He's also a master bladesmith. And I think he's out of British Columbia or Nova Scotia. No, Nova Scotia, I think is what it is. Newfoundland? Yeah, something like that. His accent's way more outrageous than mine. And mine's pretty strong, I hear, for being a Michigander without being a Youper. I'm actually, out of Detroit, so my accent is, I got a south of Detroit accent. It's got a little bit of a southern vibe to it with some of the words we use and some of the ways we say things. So let's actually talk about more tools. I got to get my algorithm back up, so I got to start talking about more shop tools. It's been a while since I was going live regularly, and I used to go live all the time. Like for a while, it was like twice a day, every day when my girlfriend was hunting in November. And so I started doing things like this and talking about tools like this, which this is actually a Japanese-made rasp. It's called the Shinto. And these are seriously cool. And they have two different coarseness. This side's much more aggressive than that side. And I use this for shaping most things, including knives. I do wish they made a two-side half round with the two different coarsenesses or grits, if you will. But this actually can eat through a lot of wood really fast. It is impressive. And for making walking sticks and stuff like that, like this is a walking stick I made. I actually shaped the whole head with it. Like I cut it down and then I put that into the shaping part, and it gets it rocking and rolling quick. And it removes a lot of material very quickly. But yeah, this is actually what I wish I knew what kind it was. I actually found this in a park that's near my house, and they had arborists out there that were doing some clearing. And this was not a deadfall. This was actually a fresh cut. But they had it all cut and stacked up in piles, and they were not in piles near the trees they were cutting. They were just moving it there. So by the time I got to the stack, I found, this stick in it, which is incredibly nice. Like I said, I think this is either holly or rowan or hazel. I'm not sure. But it's got a really nice weight to it. This would be one incredible like hiking stick staff cosplay I've even thought would be pretty rad. Hey, what's up, user Bub84? Oh, almost got ash on my face. But no, this is not the topic at hand. I know I pulled it up on my own. My cigar has almost completely fallen apart. But this is actually knives is what we're talking about today. And this is one of the knives that I made from a file. And it's got a little rust on it because I left it outside. And I think I'm actually going to clean this up today and see if I can bring it back to its gleaming beauty. Get somewhere they call it a barkeeper's friend. That stuff is amazing, actually, for cleaning most things. And steel, especially metals. Oh, my God, it is absolutely fantastic. I worked at a really, really nice cocktail bar in a town just north of Detroit. and they used it to clean their copper bar. And that copper bar was so beautiful. It was one of the coolest bars I've ever seen. But there was one also by me, another bar. They had a bowling alley lane. That was actually their bar. I always thought that was rad. But this is the topic of the hour, actually, is a knife I forged yesterday. I made this out of an American-made file, and I figured, why not use an American-made file for an American-enthused, American-designed knife? This is going to be a Bowie, but this one's going to be a bit more Old West style. And let me see, I'll hold it up to show you. So you can see they don't look too similar yet. But like with this one right here, this has this back edge or harpoon point, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of people call it all kinds of fun things. But this one, I'm going to make it a little bit longer. I'm going to draw the tang out more. I'm going to draw the whole blade out further, and then I'm going to make it a little bit taller as well before I get it down. It's going to be the same thickness as this, about 3/16. This one right now is probably sitting at about 5/16 or so, give or take. And that's going to be, this one's going to be a hidden tang knife though, which is what this is, if you guys were not familiar. Whereas this one is called a full tang because the tang runs to full length. And this ring is actually, if you guys can see, it's fully connected. Oh my God, it sounds like there's someone in my backyard. What the hell? There better not be. My dog's outside. Let's see. What? Come on. Come on. Mochi, come on. Okay, come on, Moch. I don't have any treats to give her out here. Come here, pup. Come here. It's okay. Come on. Mochi. Hi, girl. All right, she's going to go do some digging around in there. Oh, no, maybe not. Come here, girl. Come here. Up. Up. Not going to do it. Arr. All right, go do what you got to do, pup. Whatever you were doing, get back to it. Protect the yard, dog. I don't know if you guys got to see her or not, but she's a little Shiba Inu. She's a cute little critter. I'll actually turn this down in case she comes back in. You guys can see her. She's such a pretty dog. She's a wild critter too. So smart. I actually had a border collie before her, and border collies are extremely intelligent. The Shiba Inu so far has actually passed it up in spades. And the difference between the border collie and the Shiba Inu, for one being a herder and one being a flushing dog, border collies are like stubborn, but Shiba Inu are like downright defiant. Like they'll just not listen to you. They don't ever view you as like their master. You will only ever be an equal to them. And they're incredibly independent, sorry, not dependent. But they can be super cool pack animals too sometimes when they feel like it. And an interesting thing about the Shiba is they'll show that they're showing you affection by sitting near you. Like they won't lay on you or put their head on you, but they'll just like be almost within arm's reach. They almost always want to be like just out of arm's reach. And when they sleep, they'll sleep with their face like turned all the way down to their body and like whatever they want to put it against, like the couch. She'll sleep with her head like smashed all the way against the arm of the couch. I don't know what it is, but it's a Shiba thing. They're such a unique little dog. And then my other little dog, she just wants to be under a blanket all the time. But she's like part beagle. So, to you guys that just showed up, I'm Rachel. I'm out of Detroit. And this is Shop Talk on Knives. And this is a knife that I forged yesterday out of an old Nicholson file. It's going to be a Bowie, kind of an old Western style, a little bit more old-fashioned style. Not quite like this, which is like the more modern style. This was also forged out of a file, as well as this one. This was actually forged from a Nicholson, which I chose Nicholson because it's like the name in files. And it's an old American antique Nicholson file that I made it out of. And oh, there's people making noise out there. I'm going to shut the door. Oh, Chicha, what you barking at? I shall be right back. Hang on. Come on, smartphone. Let me do what I need to do. It got cold out there with the door only being open for a little while. Man, it's supposed to be like 50 tomorrow, but today, it's not that warm. It's like, I don't know, damp. Like the kind of chill you to the bone kind of cold. And I live right off the Detroit River. So we're always getting the wind off of that, and that wind will chill you to the core. So let's get back to talking about handle materials. Earlier I went live and I wasn't getting any sound apparently. And so like I said, this is a knife that I forged, but this is actually, where's it at? This is one of the woods I'm debating making for the handle. This is Osage orange, or some call it boat arc, I believe they call it. Hedge apple is another one I've heard it called. You can see like, that'll be pretty neat. It'll have a wrought iron handle. And for the wrought, I don't want it to be like, or the handle, I don't want it, the guard, I don't want it to be too extravagant. Like some of the Bowie ones can like really go really wild like that. I want it to be a little bit like probably just flat across. Like it'll be just straight across this way, but it will like taper in to the handle. And that's what I want to do with the wrought, make it a wrought iron guard. Be cool mixed media, especially because I'm trying to do the old American way, and wrought iron was used around the world, but it has a cool aesthetic for older stuff, especially if you can soak it in vinegar and get the wood grain, and some call it the pop or the steel grain, but some actually call wrought iron wood steel because it can look so much like wood grain depending on the quality of wrought. And there's a few grades, and some of them are very fine. You can almost not even see the grains in them. And then there's others that are a bit more wild. And luckily, the chain I have, I don't know if you guys can see it behind me or not, but there is a chain back there that is solid wrought iron. And I was super excited to get it from my local scrapyard. And they only wanted $10 out of it. $10 cash for 60 pounds of wrought iron. Crazy cool when you get stuff like that. I actually should probably put some up on eBay. All right, well, seems like it is 3:25. I'm going to call it good. You guys have a fantastic day. And I am going to enjoy the rest of my day. Peace. Rachel from Forge Le Femme. Adios.